engines need high-tech oils.
On today's show, the penultimate round of the Andra Drag Racing Series puts the best to the test. With the title chase open for top fuel, top bike and pro stock motorcycle, who will deny pressure for points? Australia's best FX 600 Superbike competitors also have their eyes on the silverware, and there's little in it at the top. Who will choke and who will stand tall at the Sydney Motorsport Hub? This is Speedweek. Hello and welcome to Speedweek. Today we take a closer look at the ecstasy and agony of Australia's elite motorsport talent living the dream. As the pressure in many championships is almost at boiling point, the divide between the worlds of competitors and spectators is wafer thin. We witness more anguish, more desire, and we too go on the journey with our heroes as they lay everything on the line for success. For Australia's best drag racers, the penultimate round of the series offered a journey worth savouring. Here's the action at Calder Park. Let us know your thoughts on Facebook and Twitter.
The three-round format is pretty tough because there's no qualifying. Phil and I done a match race here over 12 months ago, which gives us a little bit of track time and something to look back on. It's got a concrete start pad, so it's a little easier than what Adelaide was because it's loose from the get-go. So we'll just give it our best. It'll have to be gentle, and just try and make a few laps.
So under beautiful blue Melbourne skies, we gather at Calder Park Raceway for the Fuchs Nitro Thunder, presented by Crow Cams, the Lamartina family. What a moment for them here this weekend. Of course, Top Bike is here as well, and likewise Pro Stock Motorcycle. So three blue ribbon Andra categories about to have at it in front of a stout crowd here at Calder Park. Let's have a look at the points coming into the sixth round of the Australian Pro Stock Motorcycle Championship. And Luke Crowley very much with the championship to win, though Morris Allen is breathing down his neck. Scott White solid up that great Spring Nationals win in the last round. Lockie Island with the job to do. Rusty, we're set for an epic weekend of racing here at Calder Park.
Absolutely, Wade. It is fantastic to be back here at Calder Park Raceway. We're going to go into some highlights for Pro Stock Motorcycle qualifying session number 1 right now. We've got Luke Crowley and Morris Momo Allen on the start line now. Unfortunately for Morris, not the best weekend. Engine issues and shuts it off way early. Luke Crowley is 6:21, but sat up pretty early there, Wade.
And this is the championship battle between these two guys right here. How about Scott White? How much did he impress everybody at the Spring Nationals? A very solid run, starting to come home with a wet sail. Let's hope his weekend can reflect that here in Calder Park.
He's making a pretty nice run here. He's out in front of the reigning champion, Lockie Island. Island goes through for a 6:33 and another good run as well for the Northern Territorian.
Yeah, long way to come, certainly from Darwin to Melbourne. So good to have Andra Championship drag racing here at Calder Park. What's he spraying down the racetrack there?
That right there is traction compound. That's what makes this racetrack so sticky and what makes these bikes and cars hook up. That's what it's all about.
Beautiful conditions for drag racing, although maybe a touch on the warm side, if anything. But hey, in Melbourne, you never really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, fantastic conditions. Got to say, Scott White here with an absolutely stellar 6:034 low ET of the weekend so far. Absolutely fantastic. That guy is on a bit of a roll at the moment.
Great to see, isn't it? Here is Bluey. Magnificent set of angry eyes on the front there. You know that bike is going forward regardless. Great looking bike, isn't it? This is a very competitive class.
And it's got a good cross-section of bikes in it as well. Of course, the Kawasaki for Louis Howard. And, well, he's looking to lay down some solid numbers. Hasn't had the most consistent season, but he's certainly putting down some good passes here. It looks to be on a stellar pass this time around, and a 6.06 over the 1,000-foot course.
Puts him in at second fastest for the qualified riders, the top 6 situation. Bangs him in at number 2. Scott White quickest with a 6.03 and a 4. Howard, Glennie Wooster from Warrnambool. Luke Crowley, a 6.21. Lockie Ireland, former national champion. Morris Allen with plenty of engine work to do if he's to get himself up to the pointy end.
We've just done our first qualifying run and come back, and it appears that the Milwaukee Tools bike has sustained some damage. I over-revved it probably about third gear, and it's dropped the valve into the cylinder head. And so that's pretty terminal. So at the moment we're just trying to work through the damage and see what can be done to rectify it, and see where it puts us for the rest of the day at this stage. So hopefully we can get back out, but we're not too sure at the moment.
The bigger implication, of course, is the championship title. You and Luke are right there. There's 2 rounds to go. So, I mean, the pressure's really on to, I suppose, get back out on the track.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. So, we're going to be doing our best. I mean, us boys here at Milwaukee, we don't just sit back on our hands and wait for things to happen. We're going to try and come up and formulate a plan and see what we can do to get back on track. But at the moment, it's not looking too good.
Last round at the Spring National, Scott White Suzuki certainly turned a few heads with a great win, and he's pumped as we come into Calder Park.
Big advantage to Scott White, 0.59. Looking at it though, Phil Howard is giving him a race. Best run of the weekend for Phil Howard, 7.70, but it's not enough for Scott White.
Adelaide was fantastic. We were just at a point where you'd struggled for so long, and we really needed that win. And we kind of thought we were on the edge of it, but to pull that off there, and it's just been fantastic ever since. Suddenly we've got extra support from here, there, and everywhere, and perhaps some potential for a decent or a larger sponsor. And we came away from that with very little work to do. The bike was in good form. Everything was looking really good. So to come here today, we're almost doing it easy. After all the meetings where you're pulling pistons out and fixing this and that, we're just running, changing little things, and it's moving in the right direction. Lockie, he won his first meeting last year and went on to win the title that year. So suddenly, we're thinking, well, it's possible, And if we just keep doing what we're doing and it all, comes along like it's happening at the moment, then yes, it's definitely possible. But Luke's running pretty good numbers, and I haven't run anywhere near his fastest time, but he's got some very good equipment there, and we're just doing backyard stuff almost. This is our own gear, we do our own work, and it's tough to battle against that. The championship is the penultimate, or that's why you do it. You always hope to get that far, but at this stage the next goal is just to win a gold Christmas tree. So I'd really like to win Sydney. That'd be really good. I stayed at Morris's place. He's got 9 of them on the shelf, and I just want one of them. That'd be nice, But to win a championship, that puts you in a different league, People can win races here and there, but to win a championship, that shows a longer or a bigger scale of achievement,
So let's get straight into it. Wow, plenty of very spectacular things to see and do here at Calder Park as the boys line up for the first of our eliminations here in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Lockie Ireland, the Lucas Oils bike, former national champion, a man who'd love to do the job again this year, though the point situation would appear to be out of his reach. The Lucas Oil Suzuki, a motorcycle technician. His PB is a 7.35 at, 185 miles per hour. Bit of a Scooby-Doo fan by the looks of things.
He doesn't strike me as a Scooby-Doo fan.
Really?
You do that very well. If they ever need the voice artist for that, I'm going to put your name in the hat.
This is going to be great. The Nightmare Designs bike on the line, Lockie Ireland right alongside in the first of our matchups in front of a stellar crowd here at Calder Park. The Fuchs Nitro Thunder Series Brought to us by Crow Cams. Oh my goodness, a red light.
Yeah, red light for Lockie Island. That is not the way he wants to return to drag racing in Melbourne. But Phil Howard at 11.04. I've got a feeling he would have seen that red light and he wisely rolled off the throttle. Didn't need to do any more. And you can see it was a pretty decent one for Lockie Island. 0.16, just the click of the finger. That's all it is.
Man, that's just devastating, isn't it? Because that's the guy who's trying to pick up some points and trying to keep himself in some sort of podium situation for the championship proper. And as you said, Howard knew, no point. And when it's that early a red light that your opposition doesn't even get on the hammer too hard, that is a big red light.
That's when you know. Glenn Worcester now on board. He's going racing up against Morris Allen, but I believe he's going to be on a solo pass here, unfortunately, because of those engine issues that Morris Allen had in qualifying.
Moved to a new Trevor Birrell motor setup, this particular rider. Finished 5th in the points last year and has only had the one win so far this season. Maybe he can correct that here in his home state. Only about, trouble right here. The team coming right over to him.
Yeah, it looks like he's just staged the bike, and I think he may have picked up a problem maybe just after the burnout. Ooh. He noticed that he had it. All he needs to do when you're on a solo pass is stage, accept the green light, and move forward. Although, looking at that, he did expect to make a run there. He had that bike up on the limiter. He was ready to launch it, and by the look of it, things not going to plan, but still through to the next round.
If that is so lucky right there. Here is Luke Crowley, the current main man in that nil rust entry. You don't reckon that Luke would have been a little bit of a wry grin, noticing the problems that Allen had with his engine, the main championship protagonist up against him, but he's facing Scott White, the man that won the Spring Nationals in Adelaide last time out. Look at these fans. They're loving this.
This is a huge, huge first-round matchup because when you look at it, Luke Crowley, points leader, the guy who has been absolutely braining them this year. And in the other lane, you've got Scott White, won the last round of the championship, comes into this round as the #1 qualifier. He's got 0.2 of a second, give or take, on paper over Luke Crowley. Not what we would have expected coming into this event.
His first ever win only a couple of weeks ago in Adelaide. Nothing in it at the lights. White looks good here. I think Scotty's going to get there. Win goes to Crowley. A 6.06 with a 2-0 in it.
That was a huge race. Luke Crowley left a lot on the start line. 2.10 on the tree. Scott White strapped the whole shot on, but it wasn't quite enough. What a fantastic race. You can see both riders were up out of the seat. The bike was moving around a little bit, and I reckon there was about a sheet of paper in that at the finish line.
To the naked eye, I thought White had the job done, but Crowley will keep this championship situation in hand. White narrowly misses out. Crowley will go through to the next round.
Let's have a look at your Sid Chrome race ladder now. Semi-final matchups will be Phil Howard and Glenn Worcester, and Luke Crowley taking the solo pass.
Pit report now, and Phil Howard joins me. You've posted one of the best times today, but it's been a bit tricky now. There's a red lighting issue. What's happened out there?
Well, basically I ran Lockie in the last round and he red lit, so usually that would mean I'd get the automatic win, but they've put a protest up, so I'm not exactly sure, but they think I broke the beams before we staged, so, and if that conflicts a rule, well, if that knocks me out, so be it, you know. So I guess ANRA officials will look at it and deem whether it's, I've broken a rule or not. So if I have, I'm out. So, and they will be reinstated. So, you know.
Time to rotate the planet just a little bit as we prepare for the Fuchs Nitro Thunder, presented by Crow Cam Spectacular here at Calder Park, and the top field cars about to come out. The point situation tantalising for Darren Morgan. He's going to get into rare air if he can win 4 championships. The Mildura-based Rocket Man, 6.51. He has a narrow lead over fellow Sunraysia driver Phil Lamartina.
Yeah, Steve Reed coming in third. Damien Harris in fourth. It's a tough field in top fuel here this year. And, well, the Nitro cars, that's what puts the Nitro in the Nitro Thunder, isn't it, Wade?
Absolutely. Out rolls the American Truck Works entry of Darren Morgan. Looks like one of the American Truck Works GMCs sitting at the start line right there. Great crowd in the house here at Calder. Spectacular day for it. Look, I say this with respect. I live in Victoria, but you can't always guarantee weather like this in Melbourne.
No, you can't. You get 4 seasons in one day. Isn't that how the song goes?
Absolutely. Nice, big, strong burnout. Steve Reed, the Supercharged Battery sponsorship.
Yeah, car looks absolutely fantastic this weekend. A new sponsor on board for this event and also the Nationals in a few weeks' time down in Sydney. Supercharged Batteries. Great to see some corporate involvement on board with that team. They really deserve it.
Darren Morgan, of course, was looking to do some testing the weekend before this one, but unfortunately the weather caused some havoc. They didn't get a chance to do it. There is the Steve Reed at Reed Speed Racing entry. Isn't it good to see a big corporate down the side of that car?
Oh, it's fantastic, you know. And you look around as well, the support that we've had from Fuchs this weekend on board as the title sponsor, and also Crane Cams. It's just great to have drag racing back in Melbourne, Top Fuel back at Calder Park. It's just huge for the sport.
Wonderful to have Crow Cams involved as the joint naming rights sponsor to this Fuchs Nitro Thunder Spectacular at Calder Park. Morgan turns the tyres, it's over for him. Oh, big explosion for the POM, Steve Reed. And you can see that big supercharger is just hanging by a thread.
Yeah, that was a big one. Looked like it might have been turning the tyres. Now, what the car has a habit of doing, or the engine has a habit of doing, when the car's turning the tyres, they start freewheeling and bang, the pressure in the manifold just builds up, lifts that supercharger straight off the top of the engine, and that's the result right there. A whole bunch of raw fuel just pumping straight out the bottom of it. That is not a good result for Steve Reed.
Oh my goodness. And there's nobody can afford this in Top Fuel racing in Australia. Nobody. But the POM, Steve Reed, even less.
Yeah, that's a big boomer right there. I dare say there may have even been some kind of malfunction as well, because it just let go in a big way. Next up, we've got, well, the Battle of the Brothers, the Lamatina boys out on the track for the first time ever racing against each other.
They've got to remember, all the kids out there watching throughout Australia, you must eat your carrots. The Carrot Kings, the Lamatinas, they certainly do love a good carrot. They are, of course, one of the biggest producers of carrots in Australia. And what a wonderful moment for the Lamatina family, who have just put so much into the sport of drag racing over the years.
Yeah, it's got to be a special deal for them, you know, because Phil, we know, he's a former national champion, very experienced Top Fuel pilot. John, he's only recently got his licence, but hey, he's doing a fantastic job in this car. First competitive pass in Top Fuel, and you're up against your brother. That's got to be special.
Especially if the little brother puts away the big brother. Of course, there was a third option as well. There is another of the Lamatina boys that could have done this. Angelo was also an opportunity, but, well, Phil said, no, we're going to put Johnny in there. What a massive moment. What a great result for Fuchs as well. Remember, they did this in Adelaide too. They brought a second car to Adelaide, so they have a history of putting in big time to this sport. The Lammies, the Carrot Kings from the Sunraysia region.
Just about set to go racing, waiting on one more car to bump in. Both cars in pre-stage. A very special moment for the Lamatina family.
Pretty sure a Lamatina will be the quickest.
Both cars on a very strong pass, getting way out of shape. John Lamatina, 4:58. Phil Lamatina got the win like this time around in the compulsory qualifier with a 4:41, and that'll put him provisionally in the #1 spot.
Look at the boys running back to get some work done real quick, because I don't think things are overly happy in that camp. But hey, good for John just to get the thing down the racetrack. That was close.
Yeah, he got really close to the wall there, but he did exactly what he should. You can see the car started moving around a little bit, dropped the cylinder, spun the tyres, and as soon as it got out of the groove, he got the chutes out, got the thing straightened up, and that's exactly what you need to do in Top Fuel.
So Phil Lamatina is quickest, a 4:41 with a 4. John Lamatina second. Someone take a photo of that right now. 4:58 with a 5. The POM, Steve Reed, with that demolition job, unfortunately, third quick. And Morgan, the defending champ, with plenty to do. Here is your Sid Crone ladder. Lamatina, well, he would have faced off with Reed. Lamatina and Morgan. We have a Consi final and a final to come, thanks to Sid Crone, here at the Fuchs Nitro Thunder, presented by Crow Cams.
The pit report now. Darren Morgan joins us. One of the mags has just phased. You haven't been able to put on the show that you want for the crowd. Does that mount pressure now too?
Of course, there's always pressure. The problem with the 3-round format is we can't do those 3 qualifiers and get it right so we can put on a decent show for the crowd. It's straight up and into it. We tried to test the weekend before, but it rained out on us, so that's what we're going to have to do with all these, with all this sort of competition, is test beforehand. So it's throwing a lot of strain on the budget, and these things are going to happen instead of being ironed out earlier, but that's life.
What do you make of the 2 passes posted there, the Lamatina boys?
Oh, it's good. It's excellent. At least somebody's putting on a show for them. So we'll change this mag out and get out there, and hopefully we can. That first pass we done went to half track, done everything right. So hopefully we can do the same thing again.
We'll take a quick break and come back to Calder Park when the top bike boys have at it. Stick around. It's going to be epic. Time to throw your leg over one of the wildest machines in all of creation. Top Bike. Compulsory qualifying, that is not a top bike right there. That is about as timid as you want to be in this next few minutes, that's for sure. Let's have a look at the points. Chris Porter, well, it's a stranglehold. It's pretty well game, set, and match for Chris Porter. Graham Morrell has been solid. Chris Matheson, well, we saw his dramas, unfortunately. We saw he really lost the championship when he lost control of the bike a few rounds ago.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chris came off the bike, and that pretty much put an end to his championship hopes. But he is hoping to be back for the Nationals in Sydney. I noticed he was on the entry list with the Nitro Voodoo, so fingers crossed that we will see him back in Sydney for the season-ending Australian Nationals.
Which is only, of course, coming up in a couple of weekends' time. In fact, one more weekend's time. So plenty going on, that is for sure. Robert Cassar, great to have Robert here this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see him running in top bike again. And Graham Morrell, well, he's a guy, he has just been killing him with consistency this year, isn't he? He's on a bike that, well, by his own admission, is older technology. It doesn't have the big wide tyre. It's not one of the big cube Nitro Harleys. But hey, he's going out there, he's going down the track on every single pass, and he's getting the win lights.
And he can kill him with consistency. He'll do it every time. Pulling him into stage right now. It's a wild-looking bit of gear when you look up close. The boys take a lot of pride in what they do. It's a budget operation. Cassar right alongside him. You would think that Cassar is going to have to try and turn a consistent number, but nobody will be more consistent than the bloke in the left-hand side of your screen right now. Great crowd here for the Fuchs Nitros. Thanks to Pro Cams, of course. Oh, man! That thing stood up and begged like a dog for a biscuit.
Oh, Graham Morrell, 6:53 over the 1,000-foot course, but he was riding that thing like a bucking bronco.
MotoGP on this weekend at Phillip Island. He was almost doing a sort of Rossi style then, wasn't he? Great job, the Ballistic boys. Pretty happy about that. That's a massive ride job.
It was, absolutely. He was riding the wheelie bar right from the get-go. Cassar unfortunately had a few problems. Bike got out of the hole nicely, but never really picked up any speed from about the 60-foot on.
Watch this here.
Man, it just kicked on him, didn't it? Graham Morrell, I take my hat off to you. I wouldn't get on one of them.
Mate, there's never a moment where you're ever able to relax. From the minute you roll up at the track and there it is sitting there, this is just a wild bit of gear, isn't it? Dennis Grant, the K&M Motorcycles Harley, just looks fantastic. Look at that crowd. Aussie flags flying high. As I said earlier, this, of course, is the home of Upper Middle Bogan, the amazing ABC TV show, which is over now, but what a fantastic series.
Oh, it was fantastic for drag racing, great for the sport, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Adelaide could getting drag racing back. Look at the crowd that we've got. Well, Dennis Grant, that's an example of what Nitro Harleys can do. They can go very quick, they can smoke the tyre, or they can give you a few hair-raising moments as well. 7:25 over the 1,000-foot course for Dennis Grant, but yeah, not the prettiest of runs, Wade.
No, the judge really didn't budge, unfortunately, off the line in a straight line direction. Turned the tyre originally. The 1,000-foot idea is mainly because of the limited runoff at the other end. Is that why the guys are doing 1,000-foot?
Yeah, that is exactly the reason there. There's not as much braking area to get the bikes and the cars pulled up. And you can see he was still fighting that bike. Now, one bike we didn't see come out in the compulsory qualifier was Chris Porter. Had massive problems in the pits and was not able to make it out for a qualifying pass. So we do understand he will be out for the elimination round. So Graham Morrell, your number one qualifier with a 6:34. Great effort from him. Robert Cassar in second and Dennis Grant in third.
The Pit Report now, and Chris Porter joins me. Not such a happy man at the moment, though. It has been an awful day, and some of the evidence is in your hands. What's happened, and what's the recovery plan?
We went to go out for the second qualifier. We're having a bit of troubles tuning the motorbike. I were playing with the tune-up. We weren't keeping an eye on the belt, and we melted our belt here, so that destroyed our chances for going out for the second qualifier. Anyway, we fixed the tune-up problem, got the new belt on, went out for the third qualifier on the head of the throttle. We snapped an output shaft. Never ever broken an output shaft. So stuff's happening this weekend that's never happened to us ever in racing. So it's a whole new deal. We've put a new transmission in, put a new belt on. We're ready to go for the semi-final.
Well, nighttime conditions here for the Fuchs Nitro Thunder, presented by Crow Cams. And look at the fans. What a great atmosphere they've got here. Fans really enjoying this. This is a look at your Synchrome race ladder. Your semis will see Luke Crowley get a solo pass but Bluey Howard and Glenn Worcester will go up head-to-head to see who goes into the final to compete against him. Here is Bluey, the Nightmare Designs entry. This guy's been around a while, very experienced.
Just a little bit. He's got a fair bit of history here at Calder Park Raceway as well. I remember he won the Nationals here in top fuel motorcycle and managed to come off in the braking area as well, just for good measure. So he's got a lot of history here at Calder Park Raceway. I'm sure he would love to have a Pro Stock Motorcycle Winners Trophy to add to that Nationals trophy from all those years ago.
Well, he's run a 6.4 on a top bike here, so he has some certainly happy memories of the place. Let's have a look at this battle right now. Who's going forward to the final? Good light.
Yeah, big hole shot for Phil Howard. That is huge. 0.75, and he streaks away 6.09, just a tick off his qualifying performance. A 6.38 for Glenn Worcester. Good ride, but that was Phil Howard all the way.
Yeah, just smoked him right from the start. If you can get him at the tree in this class, it's awfully hard to run somebody down. And that was just a fantastic drag race.
Yeah, good. He hit all his shift points. You can see them flashing up on the helmet, just reflecting off there. And at night time, let me tell you, they would get your attention.
Phil, it looked like the cleanest run all weekend. How did you find it?
Yeah, probably was the best run all weekend. To be damn honest, I knew I had a fair lead on him, and I shut up a little early. I shouldn't have done that, but anyway, I did. But we're running, looking at the final, looking forward to it. The thing's feeling pretty good, and I think we're in for a half a shot, you know. So we'll see what happens there.
Fantastic.
Cool, thank you.
Cool, thank you. It's a pretty laid-back customer, isn't he, Bluey? I love it.
He is the most relaxed guy you will ever find in the pit area.
Luke Crowley has a solo pass here, the Nil Rust entry. He's immediately going into the final. All he has to do is accept the light, basically. But is he going to run the thing through? You might as well have a crack.
Well, it's not really his style. And I've got to say, they did put a new gearbox in this bike for the first round of racing.
How mean is that?
They do want to make sure everything is working properly now under the lights here at Calder Park. I mean, this is what drag racing is all about. This is a spiritual home for drag racing in Australia. And, well, I think we're home.
Crowley at the lights on his Pat Malone. What's he going to do here? He's been absolutely the man to beat all year. Wraps it on. Good light to an 0.61 light. This looks pretty quick.
Yeah, it looks like a good pass. And a 6.08, 0.61 on the tree, and a 6.08 at the other end. That's got to set him up for the final round very, very nicely.
Good reaction time, straight down the middle. Good on those shift points. That's a great way to take yourself to the final. He's going to have to be on his game because Bluey just showed us he's in good touch as well.
Absolutely he is. And I've got to say, Luke Crowley, how evenly matched it is. Only 12 thousandths of a second in it as far as lane choice goes. It's going to be a fantastic final.
There's your ladder. Thanks to Sid Chrome. It's a Crowley-Howard final coming up on Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Pit report now, and Luke Crowley joins me. You're extending that championship lead every minute. Now, what's working for you, because you've had your fair share of gremlins this weekend?
Yeah, we've had a lot of drama this weekend. On the first pass, we hit a bump and it double shifted the gearbox and basically broke the gearbox. So we didn't realise that until after the second qualifier. We came back, we found some bits in the sump of the engine. We ripped the engine in half. We spent 3 hours with it spread over the bench here. Put our spare transmission in, got it all fixed, went out, first round of racing, didn't expect to run anywhere near what we did. We got there in the end. We got the win by 0.0035 of the second off Scott. We got the bye run for that last round of racing. We're into the final now. Everything seems like it's going to clockwork like normal.
So this for all the marbles right now, Phil Howard v. the man Luke Crowley, who, remember back to the previous round of the Spring Nationals, he was punted out in the first round. They had a timing beam issue where he rolled the beams, or there was some confusion over that. Remember how well Luke took that? He just went back and thought, rightio, I'm already focusing on Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the way he had to do it, you know. The ruling was that the bike rocked slightly back out of stage, and that's what brought on the red light. You know, he took it like a racer, and he said, well, you know what, I'm going to come back and I'm going to win the next round of the championship. And, well, he's in the final with a shot to do it.
I don't know that he did take it like a racer. He took it like a gentleman. Either way, he's about to maybe cap off this championship season right here. What can Bluey Howard do with it? Oh, very nice light in that right-hand lane. A 0.04. Is that enough to do it? I think so.
Oh, not quite. Now, hang on. What's going on here? No time recorded the beams. Now, that's a strange one. It looked to me like Luke Crowley was out in front, but this is an unusual occurrence here, Wade.
Well, Howard had the advantage to probably about half track if you watch that on board right then. Wow, look at Phil. He really had to ride that thing, didn't he?
He did, and there was something came off the bike as well. There was a few sparks out of the back of it, and yeah, that was certainly not one. Let's go down to Summer and find out what happened.
Luke, no times have been recorded. How did you feel in the run?
Run was fantastic. It's probably the best run it's done all weekend. So there's been a glitch with the finish line beams or something, and for whatever reason, the wind light came on in Bluey Howard's lane, and but that was like while we're at half track. So it's hard to determine. They were both green lights leaving the start line. We've just got to get back up there and see what's going on.
Well, a bit of confusion, but to the naked eye, it certainly seemed that Crowley had the win, and that's the way the officials have deemed it, that Crowley is, in fact, the winner here at the Fuchs Nitro Thunder, presented by Crow Cams. Morris Allen in the points is still in second, but Crowley really has to show up, qualify the bike, and win the Australian Championship at the Aussie Nationals. Well done to all those boys. We'll take a break and come back. It's Top Fuel, baby, here in Melbourne. This weekend marks a very significant moment in the Lamartina family racing history, with not one but two Carrot kids behind the wheel, their very own Top Fuel dragsters.
Oh, well, it was a bit of a long life dream, I suppose, when I started racing to one day maybe race two cars, and if we did have that opportunity, you know, to get one of the brothers to drive, and, you know, John was probably the better fit. Not that we didn't ask Angelo, but yeah, so we... that's how it sort of come about, and just sort of grew from that. Well, I'm nervous, that's for sure. I haven't got anything to lose either, though. You know, I'm just here to, you know, it's my first time at a proper race meeting, and I just each hurdle and get over that and do what I've got to do and do my best. And each thing I do will be a new achievement, I suppose, for me. I do get the same similar tune-up and similar car, so I just do my job and drive it, and as you said, it could be an upset. The racing side of things, I've got a bit of a job to do, so I've got to try and win this championship up against Darren. So for me, it's like I've got to race my own race here. John's here, that's great, but at the end of the day, I've got to really focus on what I'm doing, and I've got to win. So it's great to see him be successful, because, you know, the car's part of the team, so, you know, we like to see any of the cars do good, but realistically, you know, I'm here to win. That's it. He's going all right, and obviously we want to, you know, in this race meeting, I want him, you know, we'd like him to do well, I suppose. He's up for the championship points, whereas I'm not. You know, I'm just, you know, here to. But yeah, I'd like to see him do well this meeting, and obviously we'd like to see him do well for the next meeting as well.
So magnificent conditions here at Melbourne's Calder Park for the Fuchs Nitro Thunder, presented by Crow Cams event, and the kids scrambling for a good viewpoint of some fantastic Top Fuel racing about to come your way. There is your Sig Chrome ladder. It's exciting to see Johnny Lamartina behind the wheel.
It is, and he's going to get his first round win as well, as a courtesy of that buy run in the first round. Unfortunately, the Pom, Steve Reed, in the supercharged batteries car, unfortunately can't make the call after that huge engine explosion we saw in the compulsory qualifier. Don't forget to visit andra.com.au as well for all of the latest and greatest in the drag racing world, and visit them on Facebook as well. Absolutely, John Lamartina on a solo pass here. There's a few interesting faces on that crew as well, I might add. I think I just spotted Wayne Newby in a Fuchs shirt there. So, well,
the boys have got Gritstar, yes, here is. There he is, right there to your right. The boys have Gritstar on board as well this weekend. They're always very good at pulling the commercial sponsorship into line. Come on, Johnny, what do you got for us, mate? On debut, in front of a stout crowd, a solo pass to get yourself through to the final.
In his hometown as well. What a way to start your Top Fuel career.
Let's see what he's got for us. Good light, an 08 light, both candles fully lit. That's not a bad way to run. 4:39 with a 2. That's handy.
Yeah, that is pretty handy. It looked like it might have been eating itself up a little bit at the other end. There was a few sparklers coming out of the header pipes. Let's go on board now for the replay. You can see just a few sparks coming out. It looked like it may have been just chewing up a cylinder head on the left side there, maybe just pushing out a head gasket. But either way, 4:39, it's a representative pass, and it definitely puts him in the game for the final round.
John, 4.39. So close to your brother's fastest of 4.33.
Yeah, no, we're happy with that. Very happy. We're hopefully we're through to the final. We're going to have to wait and see after the next 2 cars go by. But good luck to my brother Phil and safe race.
He's pretty cool, calm and relaxed about it all. The girls here, thanks to Fuchs, enjoying the action. Don't forget Crow Cams as well. Great supporters here this weekend. For over 20 years, Crow Cams has supplied standard replacement and performance camshafts and valve train components to car companies, racers and performance enthusiasts alike. And it's through their support this weekend, along with those wonderful Fuchs folks, we get to do this in Melbourne.
Absolutely. Now, this is a huge matchup as far as the championship goes. Phil Lamartina really needs to knock out Darren Morgan to have any hope whatsoever of trying to wrestle back that championship crown. And Darren Morgan, if he gets the win here, well, he goes a long way to securing another national title. This is a big matchup.
Well, it has been a bit of a seesawing fortune situation for both these guys. If you remember that Morgs came out of the gates big time in Adelaide, Lammy struggled to find a setup for a couple of rounds where he was going out the back door every time. Then he found his feet and started to really rock the show. Now it's come down to these two guys. Of course, Morgan won an Australian Championship with the Lamartina family a couple of seasons ago. Now this family-based private operation in Mildura that they said, some of the big guns of the sport said you cannot win an Australian Championship out of a family workshop in Mildura. I don't reckon Morgs is loving that thrill.
Yeah, well, he's managed to show them that you can, and you can do it a couple of times as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's not there yet, because this man on screen right now, Phil Lamartina, certainly seeks to put the brakes on the Darren Morgan charge. What a battle. Look at the crowd to the left. They've all got the iPhones up. Here we go. Morgan v. Lammy. Nothing in the lights, a double step for Lam.
Oh, great race. 4.38 for Morgan, 4.45 for Lamartina. Fantastic race, but Morgan gets the win. Phil Lamartina, he had to drive that thing to the finish line. It was smoking the tyres. It was going left. It was going right. He did his best, but it just wasn't quite enough. Another good clean lap from Darren Morgan.
It's a big comeback for Morgs too, because they were a little bit at sea at the start of the day, but they've come good now.
Darren, 4.38, the fastest time of the day you threw, and that 42-point lead on Phil is now extended.
Okay, that's good. We needed to do that. We've been struggling a bit. This 3-round format always gets us, and I know I harp on it, but it's nice to be able to practice and put on a show for the crowd. And I'm sorry about our performance earlier, but we've turned it around, and the boys are doing an awesome job. We haven't heard any parts, and we're really happy. Thank you.
Yeah, he looks pretty happy, doesn't he? Now, Phil Lamartina in the consolation final has basically staged the car, got the points.
That's all he needs to do. He's got the points in the bank, so he staged the car. That's all he needs to do. We can move straight on to the final with Darren Morgan and John Lamartina.
To the pit report now, and Aaron Ambridge joins me. Let's talk about John. 2 passes this weekend, debut meeting, and he's 1/100th of a second off the fastest time. What is he about?
Just natural ability. I think both the boys can drive. There's no doubt about it. I've seen a lot of drivers in the short period of time I've been racing, so I'm not that old, but yeah, they can both drive very well. They're good.
Now, Aaron, for those at home who don't know your role, tell us about it and how much love you've been giving these 2 camps.
Okay, I'm the crew chief on the car, so I am the boss. I run the whole operation. I build the cars, work on them in the shop, tune them here at the racetrack, prep all the parts, guide everybody in what they do and don't have to do. So yeah, it's all the responsibilities on me and on my shoulders, yeah.
Well, I bet when the Lamartinas rolled up to Calder Park, they were expecting that at least one of them would be in the final. I guess the ideal situation would have been both of them being in there, but I don't know that everybody expected Johnny to be in there alongside Darren Morgan.
No, and he's earned it. He has been driving that car really well. Good, sharp lights all weekend long, and he has earned his place in this final round against Darren Morgan.
Well, it's a big, big difference between licensing one of these cars, where you actually have to demonstrate your ability to handle a car at speed, to stage it, to burn out, to do all those things, to then face up in front of a huge crowd at Calder Park against the best in the country.
Yeah, and John has already stated that. He's come out and said, look, I've done my licensing. That's one thing. You can concentrate on what you're doing. You don't have to worry about your timing as far as the other guy in the other lane goes. He said when you come out here and race, it's a completely different deal. You've got to be very mindful of where the other car is in the lane, where they're up to in their process, and how far they are away from the staging teams. And he seems to be doing a pretty good job of it.
Morgan with 5 wins, 5 finals, I should say, and 3 wins from those. He's also been very busy with a 2-seat top fuel car as well. Morgs has always got something on the go. John Lamattina, the younger brother of Phil. What a massive contribution this family has made to the sport.
Oh, absolutely, and of course, Fuchs, it's got to be great for them to see this car in the final round. First-time driver, the title sponsor of the event, of course, presented by Crow Cams as well. And Darren Morgan racing back in Victoria. First time he's actually raced top fuel at Calder Park Raceway. It's quite phenomenal.
Absolutely. John with a licensing pass of a 4.67. Remember, that was a quarter mile. The youngest of the Lamattina brothers, now facing a triple Australian champion. What a debut. If he can put Morgan away, he wins the round.
Oh, it's a massive, massive race, this, and he also gives his brother a chance in the points.
Well, no pressure, John. Enjoy the experience. Here we go. Huge crowd here. Top fuel final.
Oh, the car for Lamattina moving around a bunch, and it looks like it ate some parts up. Darren Morgan, he's got a good barbecue on board with that thing as well, but he gets the win. 4.32 for Morgan, gets the win. Fantastic run for him. Lamattina, 4.55. You think the DMR guys are excited?
Little Natalie too almost got crushed in all those big man hugs. There's a lot of bromance going on. That was exactly the way you want to run for Morgs. It was a difficult run for John Lamattina, but a great drive job considering how much it was moving around. He wasn't going to get out of it.
Yeah, the car was moving around a lot and a lot of sparks out of that car. In fact, both cars were eating up some parts there. On board with Morgan one more time. He gets the trophy and he is going to be a very happy man with Summer Bow.
6 finals this season and 4 wins, and it looks as though you could have wrapped it up now. Have we done the math?
Oh no, it is what it is, but we're the guys from the bush, you know, the only regional based team in the country paying out of our back pocket against all these people with all the money. Volunteer guys, thanks boys, because they did it.
3 passes and you've come running up. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, look, very excited and very happy of the outcome. My first race meeting and to go to the final, and congratulations to Darren, he's won again. We took the Fuchs top fuel car to the final. It wasn't Phil, but myself, and we're very happy, and just a huge effort to all the team, everyone involved. Just really happy, my family, and just everything. It's just been a really great weekend, and thanks to Calder Park again for having racing back in Melbourne again. It's really great.
The baby-faced assassin does an unbelievable job on debut. Morgan is now in the situation. He goes to Sydney for the Australian Nationals. If he qualifies, well, any better than 5th, it's game over for Phil Lamattina. Well, the fans have really enjoyed the action tonight. They're going to get a dose right now of top bike semi-final action. Man, that moon is just spectacular. Fans of all ages here, it really has been a massive promotion. Great to see Andrew Championship Drag Racing back at Calder Park. I love this camera angle.
It's a little bit wild, isn't it? It's about the closest thing that you can get to getting on board one of these bikes yourself, and I don't think there's a whole lot of people that would put their hand up for that ride.
No, absolutely not. He looks a lot like he's come straight out of a Mad Max film, doesn't he, Chris Porter? And yet he's quite a quietly spoken guy. When you get the helmet off, as you know, his favourite currency when it comes to having a bit of a wager on results is actually Lamingtons, which doesn't seem like it fits at all, but he's a hell of a competitor. And this will be an interesting battle right here. The consistency of Morel up against a man who's not had the best of runs so far, Porter.
Absolutely, and don't forget that this is his first time on track this weekend for Chris Porter. Had problems, wasn't able to make it out for a qualifying pass. So Graham Morel, number 1 qualifier, he's in the box seat here, but Chris Porter, he's the points leader. He can put you away.
Porter is probably not hoping to see Morel in the other lane because he is so consistent. So he's got to go for it now. Porter has to hang it out. Oh, very different in the reaction stakes.
Oh, big moment for Porter. He's laying that bike over, got very close to the centre line. Morrell knocks him off at 6:58 with an 0.25 reaction time on a fuel scooter. That is a fantastic reaction time. And, well, Morrell, they're pretty happy, that team.
Plenty of man love. Unfortunately for Porter, it's just a lazy light in comparison to Morrell, who really brought his A game. Big, heavy bike, that Top Fuel Harley.
Yeah, they're not easy bikes to manoeuvre around, and you can see Morrell, that thing just launched beautifully, carries the front end, and well, Porter's bike tried to, but when it came down, it wasn't going straight.
Well done, Graham Morrell. He's heading to the final. Very nice job. Here is the ballisticracing.com entry. And that is just spectacular. The Kawasaki looks the part, the Power Plus guys. Beautifully turned out. Fans here in their thousands here at Calder Park. Check out andra.com.au for all of the latest in drag racing, and check them out on Facebook as well.
Yeah, this is another huge round for Robert Cassar. Let's have a look at the Sid Chrome profile. He's racing the Kawasaki this weekend, the business owner, and well, here's a fact, he's got a new idea every single 30 seconds of his life. That's not a bad claim to fame, Wade.
He's an inspired dude. That's all it comes down to. You have to be fairly inspired to ride one of these unbelievable bikes. You are spooning with an Exocet missile. Dennis Grant aboard the K&M Motorcycles Harley. Wild bit of kit closest to camera right here. Cassar v Grant in front of a huge crowd, loving their championship drag racing. Great to have Andra back at Calder Park.
Now, this is going to be a good race because Robert Cassar comes in as number 2 qualifier, went 6:47, but can go a lot quicker than that. Dennis Grant had major problems in the qualifying round, went 6:64. That bike can go a lot faster, so I think this is going to be a good matchup.
Jeez, very, very slow light in that left-hand lane. A 0.3 light, but is coming home. Holy cow, nearly got there. Cassar, a 6:48 with a 7.
Yeah, Dennis Grant, though, drives around for the win. 6:25, and, well, he only just pipped him on the finish line. That was a very, very close race.
Killer light, really, wasn't it? That's what nearly put him well and truly away. Gee, didn't it come home?
Yeah, he really had to ride that bike. You can see over the finish line, it's still wiggling, and Cassar really close to the wall.
The Pit Report now, and Natasha Morrell joins me, the wonderful woman behind Graham. Now, what I'm curious about, Natasha, is tell us about this man and how he brings it all together. What kind of man is he?
He's the man. He does everything. He's the mechanic, he's the rider, he's the owner. He's got a really cool level head, which obviously you need for nitro racing. You know, they have to make split-second decisions and stay calm if anything's going wrong. And when, you know, many meetings he spent all night rebuilding the engine, got it going, got back in the track. Actually, Sydney was a perfect example, won the gold Christmas tree, woohoo! And he stayed up till 5 in the morning rebuilding the engine. You know, he's the brains, he's the brawn, he's everything behind Morrell Racing. He's Graham Morrell. He does it all, yeah.
So we're set for the final right now of Top Bike. The boys preparing to go at it. Wow, Dennis Grant, you talk about timing. He just reached out and snatched that final third.
Yes, by the skin of his teeth, I think is the term. And there's a very interested observer down there on the start line. That's Chris Porter, because the only man that can catch him in the championship is on the line now, Graham Morrell. We keep saying he's killing him with consistency, and he's going out there and he's proving that that is the way to build up your points and to go out and chase a championship, because he's not on the most powerful bike, he's not on the latest technology, but I tell you what, he is making it count.
Well, the really important message here for Dennis Grant, if you didn't realise it from before, is to cut a good light against this guy, because that is where Morrell will make the most of every opportunity. So Grant's got to be quicker off the light than his 0.3 in that semi. Have a look, everything shakes when it's just sitting there. It is a violent proposition. You have to be an amazing dude to straddle one of these things.
Oh, well, it's certainly a ride and a half. Both bikes just about set now. The final, the Nitro Thunder here at Calder Park.
Nothing in it this time. Grant leading it over. Is he home? Oh, Morrell, that was close. Morrell gets in a 650 with a 3. Grant had that thing laid over the whole way.
He did, went 661, crossed the centre line after the finish line, and Graham Morrell takes his second career win in top bike. That is fantastic for him, and it really tightens things up at the Nationals in a few weeks' time for the championship.
Look at the boys, they're absolutely ecstatic. And that is just, again, an example of how consistent. Look at that, Grant is having to manhandle that bike. He had to keep it off. Oh, that was close. Actually picked his foot up to miss that timing line, and he nailed the last 2, but Morrell is your winner.
Yeah, Morrell didn't know what was going on behind him. Let's go on board now. You can see the front end just dancing around and passes him right at the finish line. That's about as close as you can get.
Team would be absolutely thrilled with that. It just floats. He's got that perfectly balanced. Grant almost had it, but well done, Graham Morrell. Let's go to the deep end with Summer, and a happy winner, I'm sure.
Thanks to Calder Park for putting this on, Andra, and my crew and my wife, and it's all been fun.
Isabella.
Yeah, little Isabella's a fan, and racing here in front of our local people, it's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good on you, Mozza. Fantastic ride all day, that's for sure. Point situation, well, Chris Porter, they're not going to run him down. There's only one round left at the Australian Nationals at Sydney Dragway coming up in, of course, the first weekend in November. What an epic event. Thanks to Fuchs and Crow Cams, Rusty.
Yeah, fantastic to be back at Calder Park. It's just super to be back at the home, the spiritual home of drag racing in Australia.
The weeks ahead, we'll see the Australian Nationals. We'll look forward to your company then, folks. Nothing in it, the lights, a double step for Lamb. Grant leading it over. Is he home? Oh, Morrell, that was close. Oh, big explosion for the top bill final.
Well, the Carlton Lamantina moving around a fun. Darren Morgan, he's got a good barbecue on board, but he gets the win, 4:32.
What a journey at Calder Park after 12 years away. Darren Morgan trusted in his ability to never say die as Graham Morrell continued to get the most from his small cube Nitro Harley. For Luke Crowley, it was all about beating relentless mechanical gremlins for a near unassailable championship lead. Let us know your favourite moments as we head to a short break.